my name's Clebsch. I'm back with another tutorial here on bending on the harmonica, and just right there I just happened to bend all the notes that you can bend when you're drawing, the first 6 of them. Let's go through each one of those notes and drill down a little bit. So when we're bending, the physics of what's happening is as we change the airflow, we're starting to cause actually the reed, the opposite reed, the blow reed, as we're drawing on the draw reed, we're causing the blow reed to start vibrating sympathetically. And then eventually, by the time we have it bent all the way, it's just the blow reed that's actually doing all the vibrating. That's not really such an important thing to understand in terms of understanding that is not going to help you be able to bend any easier. But that dictates how far the gap between the intervals on the blow and the draw of each hole is going to dictate how far we can bend that down. So on the first hole, from the blow to the draw is a whole step. So between that, we have a half step that we can bend down. So there's one bent position on the one draw. So let's practice that, the one draw. Again, I have a C Harp here. Sorry for not having mentioned that in the last video. Got a C Harp here, trying to just keep that consistent for now. So as I do the one draw, I'm going to bend it down a half step. Again, if you've gotten the 4 draw and that's easy, and then you're having trouble on the one draw, just know that that's normal. The lower notes, and like I said before, a lower harmonica like a G or a low F tuning especially, man, you're really going to have to get that cavity at the back of the mouth really big in order to bend that note down. Versus if you have a high F harmonica, it's going to be much more forward and a much smaller movement that's going to create that bend. Somebody asked me on one of the comments that you're having to blow harder and push your lips tighter in order to get it bend down. That should not be the case. It's doing those things is causing you to do something else that's enabling you to get the bend. But you'll see here on the one draw, I can still bend that very quietly. So anytime you're playing the harmonica, you want to have your throat open and you want to have a steady, continuous column of air that's flowing through you in a continuous manner in order to get a good tone. So it's possible, if you want to do a video response, then I can more accurately assess what's going on. But I see a lot of beginners, doing that. And then, no, that's not the way that you want to do it. Just keep working on trying to get the back of the mouth, the ee-aw kind of thing in order to bend it down. So you'll find again that this is a bigger thing that you're having to do with your mouth to get the one draw down, but it can come down only one half step. Let's practice that a couple times together. Again, I'm going to do it released, then bent, then released. Again. You can probably see as I put my head sideways that my whole jaw is actually coming down a little bit. So remember, think it lower. You don't have to breathe harder. And again, sometimes for some reason it also helps to tilt. So if tilting helps it, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep tilting it if that's what you got to do. Eventually your muscles will remember what to do without having to do the tilt. Okay, so moving to the 2 hole, we now have a minor third between the blow and the draw. So now we can actually bend it down a whole step. So we can bend it down a half step, and then we can bend it down another half step, creating a whole step. So I will bend first a half step and then a whole step. So I bent it down a half step and then a whole step, then I released it to the half step again, and then all the way back up. Okay, now this is going to take a while. At the beginning, what you really want to focus on is just getting down to that whole step. So let's try that a few times. I'm going to do that a few more times. Play along with the video and see if you can really get that thing to drop all the way down to where I'm dropping it. At the beginning, when you're still getting comfortable with this technique, you might find you're only able to bend it like this. You're only getting it down about a half step, but we want to bring it all the way down, which again, you just have to make that even bigger, more of an aw. The tongue at the back of the mouth is going even lower. The soft palate behind the hard palate is going even higher. Again. One more time. And then once you can do it the whole step, then you do want to practice the half step intervals. Getting the intonation and doing those half steps can be challenging, and that's going to take you many years to master. And even I still have a lot of work in mastering the intonation on those half step intervals. That's something that you continue to work on as an advanced player. But we still will go ahead and do it, a couple of those that you can play along with to start trying. And you're trying to train your tongue and mouth muscles to memorize what it feels like to be in the half step down versus the whole step down. Okay, so the one draw again, we can come down a half step. The two draw, we can come down a whole step. And the three draw, we can come down actually a step and a half. Just happens to be the way the harmonica is tuned. Because again, we have that major third there, so now we have a whole step and a half that we can come down. So the three draw, that's the half step. That's going to be the most kind of common bending that you're doing. It's just bringing it down a half step. So if you can bring it down only that far right now, that's okay. That's as far as you really need to for most, especially if we're just playing in cross-harp. When we start getting into some of the other positions or doing some of the more advanced stuff, you're going to want to be able to bend it down to the whole step position. So there I just bent it down from the released, down a half step, down another half step. And then in this, on the three draw, we can actually bend it down one more half step below that. Now that's getting into some pretty advanced stuff. So I really don't want you to feel frustrated if you're having trouble doing that, but it's good to know that you can do that. If you can play along with a piano or a guitar and kind of test your intonation on that, that's really good. In ensuing videos, we will get into the importance of those different bends, but it's just good to be aware of that and try and start developing an ear for how far you're bending it down. Next is the four draw, and that's probably one of our most commonly bent notes when we're playing the blues. That's that lick that you learned on a couple videos ago. I mean, that's just, you can just do that all day. It sounds great. If that's the only thing you know how to do on a harmonica and you're sitting in with a band for one song, everyone's going to love you. It's going to sound great, you know. So again, the four draw, we're back to only being able to bend it down a half step. Okay, well, like we did on the previous video. Now, the fifth hole is on the blow and the draw is only a half step apart, so you actually cannot bend the five draw a full half step down. It can only come down like a quarter step. So it's more of an effect. You're not going to use it in terms of creating a melody so much. We'll still do it just for fun. So here's the five draw. Remember, if you don't know where it is, just start on one and slide over and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see it's not really coming down a whole half step. A half step would be the blow. So when you're bending down, it's halfway in between those two intervals. Five draw, not really important to, you don't really need to spend time working on your five draw bends. You really want to spend the majority of your time on 1 through 4. And then the six draw bend is nice for some dramatic, some little dramatic thing like at the highlight of a solo. And that one also comes down only a half step. Okay, so just to show you like how that would be cool is if I'm doing some licks on the five draw with the band. And then I want to go up to the six draw. That was all drawing. I didn't do any blowing there. It's all drawing. So there's a lot that you can do when you start playing around with these bends. And I think that's good. I think that really gives you an idea of what we can do. That's all the draw bending that you can do on a diatonic harmonica. The only other bending you can do is up in the top register with blow bends, which we'll get into on another video. But hopefully that's helpful for you in figuring out how this bending thing works. Again, don't give up, keep practicing, be patient with it. It takes some time to get the bending concept.